Hey everybody, salutations. This is a gorgeous foggy day here not far from the coast in Salt Point State Park, which is a great place to see, well, many things. One of which is if you're interested in the ecology of, a relatively undisturbed ecosystem. This is where to go, where to see some good stuff. And but here, I wanted to show you this plant because what I'm showing you is going to be a big contrast from what I will be showing you. But this is probably the last chance I'll get to see this fella. This looks like a tropical plant, even though it's not. This is known as the corn lily, a member of the Melanthiaceae, which is like related to lilies. Not kind of somewhat related to lilies, and in the same order at least. But just check out that foliage. Oh, now one thing is, please don't remove these from habitat, and please never think of eating these. They're highly toxic. They'll probably make you puke your guts out and do some more damage. But either way, I mean, they're like it's a thick leaf. You hear that? It's like a Well, anyways, they're occurring this little drainage here where we see more presence of redwoods, bracken ferns, this guy, that sedge, that blade of grass looking thing over there. And they always grow near water. So do those big chain ferns over there. So, see here we got some redwoods. And so what I'm going to show you is the ecosystem that we're in is characterized by the shallowness of the soil, and as a result of that, it had formed a very specific kind of ecotone, or actually rather a form of habitat, where many plants, especially large trees such as redwoods or oaks or pines, will grow, or Douglas firs especially, will grow rather dwarfed. And the soil is shallow, doesn't drain very well, and it's got hydrophobic, which means it's not very water soluble, doesn't drain very well. So anyways, aside from here's what it generally looks like, you can see is low growing shrubs with a few larger trees going around. Variable shrubs all around. And the soil is, well, here, this might be filled in, but I'm not too sure. But here's a good example, rather, more of what this soil is like. We just remove some duff. This is probably built upon by millennia of moss. Lichens breaking down the first layer, over several millennia. But anyways, well, let's get to the plants, huh? One of my favorite ferns is this guy. This is the bracken fern. This is the California version of it, at least. Pteridium aquilinum. And judging from, that's all I can say about it for now. It might have been variety pubescens, but I don't see any pubescence on it, so I'm going to say this is probably just Pteridium aquilinum. Here is a sapling of tan oak, the most common species of oak relative here in this forest. We got lots of oak relatives, so we'll get around to that, why that is, and lots of blueberry relatives. Right here, this is known as salal, otherwise botanically known as Gaultheria shallon. Very critical, member of this ecological community. And one special one that I really like, and I wish I could see more of, is this fella, which just looks kind of like a bunch of grass or something, but don't let that deceive you. This is known as bear grass, or botanically can be referred to as oh my god. Yeah, hold on, give me a second. I want to get around to that before I forget. One other thing. So this soil is this way because when these hills or mountains had formed, they were like cracks in them like that, like just like a like that, and it filled in with material and it didn't drain for a long time, and that as the water had went away, there was that material that left through is like a kind of like a sandy clay like rock, laden with actually with a lot of minerals. But as the plants grow on it, over time, of course over several millennia, this acidification happens, and because of that extreme acidification, it selects for many members of the oak family and the blueberry family to be the dominant kinds of flora to occupy such a region. But anyways, back to this guy. This is bear grass, Xerophyllum tenax, and that's spelled with an X, Xero. And if you can see that silvery green underside to those leaves, kind of reminds me of like a pampas grass, a terrible invasive species here from South America, but it's nothing like that, because this guy, albeit looking so much like grass, is not related. It's in that family, the Melanthiaceae, which is similar to lilies. Crazy that something like this would be related to lilies. More closer related to lilies than it is to grass. Think of it that way. Here we also have this fella. This is known as the Western Labrador tea. That's botanically known as Rhododendron columbiana, and it's about to bloom. I can't wait. They're so great when they smell wonderful. Yes, you can make a tea out of it, but why bother? And it tastes nothing like the tea that you like at home, so just stick to the tea that you like. All right. And so moving on, another, oh, did I mention? No, I did not. That Western Labrador tea in the genus Rhododendron is related to blueberries. this is related to that. We're gonna see some more. One of the more dominant trees here is the madrone, right here. The trees of consequence, you know, that aren't conifers. This, albeit a very poor specimen, but it's okay. This madrone tree, Arbutus menziesii, great plant. Really likes the rocky places with acidic soil. So does here, this guy. This is the black huckleberry, a Vaccinium ovatum. A lot of diversity crammed into one small space. That's just what fascinates me about this kind of environment. So here's some flowers of that Vaccinium ovatum right there. And so we're gonna keep on moving forward. I came out here because I really wanted to see that Seraphyllum tenax in habitat. The last place I saw one was pretty deep in the hills of Santa Rosa. And I could see that despite it growing in the shade, it was doing pretty well. And I thought they needed more light than that. So it's like, okay, kind of weird to see one of these species in such a situation, which I thought would have been kind of disadvantageous for it, because the first time I came across this species was here. There's a population somewhere on this trail, on a junction, I believe, full of them. But also this trail has many more interesting botanical, you know, things, plants. So, oh, cute. Cute little Douglas iris right here. Iris douglasiana in the iris family, Iridaceae. I really like this guy. This is Morella californica, related to oaks in a family called the Miraceae. So kind of in the same order as oaks, Phagales. Just, you can kind of see, it kind of looks similar to some species of oaks that we see here, I think, in the US. But yeah, very fast growing plant. It likes acidic soils. It likes rocky kind of soils. It really can do well in anything I've seen, as long as it gets enough water. They can be a little thirsty. So the sun came out again. That's nice, I guess. So one of the most common conifers here in the coast ranges of California is the Douglas fir right here. This guy. This is a young one, full of new growth. But sometimes the new growth is a much deeper green, and I believe this one is not, because it's just a little bit chlorotic. It's not quite getting the nutrients that it needs, either from the soil, or the mycorrhizae in the soil aren't for it. Either way, this is a beautiful tree. They get big as hell. Taller than the Statue of Liberty, for your context. Now, that big tree over there, that's a redwood. That big guy over there, that's a different kind of tree. We also get many, so back to the blueberry relatives. These are all, so many of them, because this environment is just the way it is. Acidic and all this stuff, rocky. Anyways, this guy right here with these little leaves, this is a species of manzanita. And this species of manzanita is known as Arctostaphylos sensitiva. And I guess that would pretty much roughly translate into the sensitive manzanita. Not sure why they gave it that name. Here's another one. This is a different kind of manzanita, known as the Eastwoods manzanita. Arctostaphylos glandulosa. It's so glandulous, so glandular. It's glandular. And I want to make a note of, you see all this like moss? This stuff is clinging to the walls. They don't even have roots. They have like rhizoids. They're not even vascular plants. They just drink from rain and the humidity in the air. And they're just great. And their job, essentially, in ecology is that they break down the, non-living material of the earth, the rocks, the sand and whatnot, and the bark. They also break down the bark of trees. And what they do is that they are essentially soil builders. So over millennia, these mosses, things grow in them. Like, see this salal? It's growing, it probably germinated in this patch of moss, which under it is a patch of rock and sand. And it's like, so, millennia of dying material is what builds soil, that nice, really fluffy soil, potting soil you can think of, is just built from dead moss, dead leaves, dead bark, and some of the native soil. That's just essentially what it is. And here's a nice Seraphyllum tenax growing in the shade of this majestic Eastwood manzanita right here. See that red bark? It's so beautiful. And that silvery blue leaf. It's gorgeous. God, there's so much biodiversity here. It's just, what is this little bean? Little phabid. Huh? Look at him. He's cute. Cute little guy. I don't know what he is. Fixing nitrogen in the soil. So nice, huh? You could call this somewhat similar to chaparral, but it's not really a chaparral. Oh. Okay, here's a tan oak. See that? Fuzzy leaves with a golden underside to them. And the other kind of tree that we have is a small tree, shrub, depends on, its life stage and whatnot, is this guy right here, known as the chinkapin, golden chinkapin, or botanically as shoot, I'll come back to that. Been having a rough week, brain fog, but golden undersides, related to oaks in the order Phagales. Chrysolypa, That's its name. Chrysolipsis chrysolipa. Ah, that's a mouthful. Chrysolipus? I don't know. Pronunciation. It's funny. So there's that little beautiful. Look at that. Oh, look at that growth. That's the Arctostaphylos sensitiva. Oh man, I wish I see more of these in horticulture. They're so cute. Little leaves, red bark. Probably very climate sensitive though, I would imagine. I only ever see them growing ridges near the coast on a very certain geology, like sandstone or this, this kind of rock. Oh, nice shade. So as that little island, oh boy, caught my attention. We're seeing one of the best plants this region has to offer. We're going to see more of them down the trail. Here's a nice warmer. This is a young one, probably only about 6 or 10 years old, but maybe not even that. And this is the Pacific rhododendron, botanically referred to as Rhododendron macrophyllum, meaning big-leaf rhododendron, a member of the blueberry family, the Ericaceae. And at some point, it gets these big old pink flowers. So I barely have moved in the last 20 minutes, only about not even a quarter mile. So here's some more really cool plants. This guy, you're like, what is that? It looks like a fern, but it clearly isn't, because ferns don't have flowers, and well, the flowers are spent and they're going to seed here. This is known as the warrior's plume, or you could call it, I like to call it the warrior's plume. It has several names. So a great plant. Here's it again, right here. They're very nice. So, ooh, now this guy, see, I just noticed stuff out of the corner of my eye, okay? Now that, why am I rubbing the leaf? Why do you think? Oh, yeah. It's like super nice. It's not a drug. It just smells so good. It's a member of the sunflower family, known as Arnica discoidea. Arnica, some people pronounce it. It's just so pretty. Oh yeah, it's soft. It's like petting the ear of a cat. Oh, and the smell. Oh, I can't describe it. It's closest thing I could say is like a very fine liqueur, but not like an alcoholic smell. That doesn't even come close. It's just like a herbal smell. Just like an intensely fragrant, pleasant herbal smell. So, you know, just try to soak it all in. There's just so much crammed into these spaces, and partly that might be because there hasn't been fire here, and I would presume 100 years. I saw way back on the trail earlier and near the beginning that they were doing controlled burns. They were clearing out dead branches and stuff from the forest floor, leaving them in piles and burning them there, whilst containing the spread of that fire by soaking the ground around the burn pile. That's a lot of work, you know. Just let the fire spread. That's fine. Another blueberry relative. This one likes to grow more in the shade of tan oaks and redwood trees and whatnot. This is it looks like an unassuming shrub, really, but it has delicious sour red berries that come out in the summer, and this is known as the red huckleberry, Vaccinium racemosum. And here's again that warrior's plume, botanically referred to as Pedicularis densiflora. Good shit. Now, want to make a special note about the Pedicularis densiflora right here. Natives, the indigenous people of the Pacific Northwest, would collect this plant, dry it, and smoke it in ceremonial, or I guess I would assume it's ceremonial. They don't have time for recreation like back then. But I guess it could have been recreational. Who the hell knows? I don't know. But this plant, you could smoke it and it calms your ass down. It's very calming, but please don't overharvest it. You can find a source somewhere. You can get seeds and grow them yourself and feel connected to nature that way. You don't have to take shit from the forest to feel connected to nature. Nature is everything and everywhere all at once. It is you. It is every second you breathe, you sleep, every day you get up. That's nature. We're not separated from it. We're always in it. Even when we die, we are still a part of nature. Get that through your heads. So, you know, no need to take from it if you don't need it. Sure, I have a rough day. Sure, I get like, shit, man, I could go for a cigarette. Sure, I could go for a drink. I could get some weed, whatever the fuck. And I'm like, no, I got better things to do. So, I have responsibilities, but that being aside, do I feel the need to take this? Absolutely not. I just want to enjoy it for what it is. Let it play its part in the ecosystem. So that's my little rant on that. Ooh, a death comma. Yeah. This is a very poisonous lily relative, again in the Melanthiaceae. That relative of lilies. They're very pretty and everything, but super toxic. Very nice. I can't imagine it being a pleasant death. That thing, ingesting that plant. So, moving on. You can see that they I guess, carved this trail out for some reason. A road. This is more like a road, to be honest. And because they have maintenance here, maintenance crews to rake and clean the forest. Whoopie day. So, but it left these walls for the moths to colonize. Same with these two wildflowers right here. Well, for all the plants to spread and colonize on, like this. There's that